Go ahead, James.
Oh, so proof of conspiracy. How Trump's international collusion is threatening American democracy. Seth Aberson, New York Times best-selling author of Proof of Collusion. So then first you had collusion and now conspiracy. So, and I see some, there's a real rogues gallery of people up here. I don't recognize this bozo, Baghdadi. But Benjamin Netanyahu somehow deserves to be up here with Trump and Putin. And I think this is the Prince of Salman, is that his name, of Saudi Arabia. So could have got that guy wrong. I've read about him. I don't look at the news that much. We don't have cable TV. We're not made out of money. So yeah. So somehow or another, there's this rogues gallery here. We've got this funny idea from the Cold War that the Saudis are bad guys and all that sort of stuff, and they are awful when it comes to spreading Wahhabism or Salafism, what you want to call it, around the world. But at least they've pursued a relatively peaceful policy when it comes to their immediate neighbors. And sadly, that's the way. And internally, they haven't been that good. If you're a Christian, at least technically, you can't go and publicly worship in Saudi Arabia. If you're Buddhist, you can't go on and carry on your rites and in Saudi Arabia and stuff like that. And that's shameful. It's shameful that there's a country like that. I don't think there should be any infringements on people carrying out their rites of worship unless it involves something like baby sacrifice or whatever. It applies to Muslims wherever they're at, and it applies to Christians wherever they're at, or pagans, or Zoroastrians, or Yazidis, or Jews, or whatever. So, but at least they haven't had much of a virulent foreign policy. And I think that's about the best you can hope for in most of the places in the world. It's just leave your neighbors alone. If you leave them alone, maybe a democracy can have something like an alliance with you. So, but because the Saudis, left-wingers don't really think about this carefully, putative, because the Saudis were on the American side during the Cold War, they're bad guys, and they're forever going to be bad guys until they have their Arab Spring and stuff like that, and let a democracy in for one election, and then they'll vote to have a dictatorship in that will be the choice of the people, and the choice of the people will be to invading their neighbors and being extra cruel to their minorities and stuff like that. But that's democracy, Hitler was elected democratically, of course, but he was white. He wasn't a person of color, and I don't know how these guys exactly think. It's more just feel. Let's hang over the Cold War. Benjamin Netanyahu doesn't belong in this rogues gallery. I don't say, one of the stupid things about him is he has the neoliberal kind of approach to economics, and neoliberalism doesn't really help out the economy. We got the American stats, and he's, as far as I'm concerned, borderline traitor to Israel, just like the Republicans have been borderline traitors to the United States. These are the traditional Republicans. I'm not talking about Trump, who is not a borderline case. He's well over the line into treason. So conspiracy, let's just talk about treason and stuff like that. So I'll be reading more of the book later on. I've just done a cursory reading, so I don't want to really criticize. I'm mainly criticizing the blurbs on the back, the front cover, and stuff like that. We'll see if this Seth Abrahamson is a little bit more perspicacious than your average journalist, or even, well, New York Times journalist. Pretty superficial, really. Anyway, enough of that. Have you got something to say about The Collector? Do you want me to hold it up?
It was by the writer of Saw something, I don't know. Some of the parts of Saw, the movie.
We saw
which,
that, right?
And yeah, I never liked that series. It was always the same story, really. And
Yep.
but I suppose people, whatever, they find something they like and they just want to hear the same thing over again, maybe.
People oftentimes want rituals. That's what WWE is about.
Sure.
That's really what the average comic book is about. That's one of the things that made the X-Men better, because there was no real ritual. The people were finding out about their powers, so it wasn't the same thing. Superman is, eventually his super duper power, he can literally move worlds, or would come to the rescue, right?
But with The Collector, this story, it started out, there was really bad rock music at the beginning, and then it was started out kind of like a rock video, only like a crappy rock video. Do they even have rock videos anymore? I don't know, honestly.
I think they're available on the internet.
Yeah, and people just watch them if they want to, or
I don't know what they do.
what they
No.
do. Anyway, and then after a while, we actually got into the movie. It
I think it was
pretty
set up that
scary
way,
in
right?
parts,
Mhm.
yeah. And you can pretty much it's typical sort of horror stuff. I mean, you have the guy comes in, and he may not be a typical kind of hero sort of person, but he finds himself in a situation where he wants to be a bit heroic, right? He comes in and decides, all right, well, I'm going to try to rescue these people, but the people are not cooperating with him. He'll say, he's managing to sneak around this house, even though it's set up with man traps everywhere, right? And I'm watching it and I'm going, is this, the killer, is he military or what? Because there's some pretty sophisticated man traps all over the place. And so anyway, that's where, and then he's managing, anyway, the hero's managing to sneak around, and he's doing a pretty good job of it, of not being detected and not setting off the traps. It's not great, he's not looking where he's going nearly as much as he should be, and so you're constantly going, God, guy, watch, or you're gonna get it, and so you're on edge about that, right? But that's effective. And then the people he's trying to save, they're doing the typical horror movie thing, they're not listening to him, they start screaming, running away, whatever,
He's telling them to be quiet, and they start whimpering,
Yeah.
and you go, oh, it's going to get
and
worse.
you go, man, don't even try to save these
Yeah,
people,
don't save
because and then finally he thought that the child was out of the house, but as he gets away from the house, he looks back and he can see the kid in the window, and you're like, don't go back for the kid, you're getting away, And of course he tries to rescue the kid. And so anyway, it's I'm not going to give away the ending.
No.
But it's definitely worth watching. We both found it scary, and we were both doing the whole horror movie thing, like,
Don't
no,
say.
guy, don't do this, don't,
No.
or whatever, right? Like,
Don't waste your life.
yeah.
Not your time, it's your life. Mhm.
So, anyway, so effective.